joining Real Talk. This is Natoya Perkins, and I want you to stay with me for this interview that will help us to build our faith during our affliction. An interview with Carrie-Ann Jackson, 39-year-old lady who was diagnosed in 2010 with charcot foot. And not only with that, but in 2008, she was also diagnosed with diabetic ulcer. What that is, we'll find out. Stay tuned to listen to Carrie-Ann's story. If you're joining for the first time, I want you to hit that bell and the subscription button for more notification for future posts to come. Carrie-Ann, thanks for joining Real Talk to share your story and uplifting someone out there who may feel like they want to give up and while they're going through their affliction. Thanks for joining Real Talk.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
All right, so I want to start off this because this is a powerful message. You know, God is in the midst of it. So I want to start off with a scripture from 1 Corinthians 10, verse 13. There hath no temptation taken you, but such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape, that he may be able to bear it. With that being said, Carrie-Ann, this word is for you, me, and all those who will be listening. So Carrie-Ann, give us a brief understanding of what is charcoal foot and diabetic ulcer.
Okay, so a diabetic ulcer is an ulcer. You get an ulcer on your leg or wherever on your body. It was on my leg, and because of complications of diabetes, it's harder for that ulcer to heal, and then so various infections. So it's a constant battle. You get better today and then you have an infection tomorrow. When it reaches a shortcut foot is when you get osteomyelitis. Osteomyelitis is when that infection has reached your bone. And when it has gotten into your bones, it's so bad till your bones start losing calcium. So because your bones start losing calcium, everything starts to deteriorate. So your bone looks like powder, like it just shells away. It is like an eggshell. And then it just starts declining until you just start losing bone.
Wow. Oh God. So as a young woman growing up at the age of, on your blog that you have, you said that it was like what, from 2008, 2010, yes. You have this. So that would be 26 years old. That's a long time to be living with something like this. So with this condition, you must have been wondering in your head and have a lot of stuff going through your mind. Why me? How could God allow this to happen to me? How can I get rid of it? What is the procedure to let this stop happening? Am I still going to be attracted to men? Am I going to be married, as a young Christian growing up? Are men going to be attracted to me still? Share your state of mind during that time.
So growing up, I have always been active. I used to play netball. I did cheerleading. I like being active, very active in my church. I was the sports coordinator for my youth group in Jamaica. At one point, I was actually the youth president for my youth group. And I was extremely active in my community, always going for walks. At one time, I remember my mother said, not every job, not you must dance to the beat. I was trying to find out all the time. So when this started, I'm thinking, you still get better. I didn't think of it being permanent. I didn't think of it being like, it's going to last this long. And then it started when I was in Canada, when I didn't, because even though I was 26, I left Jamaica leaving my mother's house. So I was always under my mother's protection. Even though, you feel like you're a bigger man and you do what you want to do, your mommy's always your mommy, right? So I never had my mommy. Okay. I had my sister, and she had her own family to deal with. And I was not close with my church family. Coming from Jamaica, being the youth president, growing up in a church where I was in that church when I was 5 years old, teaching Sunday school, doing drama. So everybody knew me. Like, I was one of the babies of that church. So not having family support, not having church support, not having friends, because I didn't have enough time to make friends. I just came to Canada. So it was extremely lonely. And not only lonely, it was new. Yes, I suffered with a lot of ailments growing up, but nothing so severe. And I did not know what to do. And when it started, my doctor started talking about amputation. And knowing that, oh, you're gonna lose your foot, you have one foot, that was one of my biggest fear. And I felt like there was never a way out. But for some reason, it pulled me closer to God, because I remember I talked to my mother on the phone one day and she was crying. And she said to me, tell God what you're going through. She said, I am miles away. I don't know what to do to help you. And I didn't like talking to her because I could feel her feeling my pain. You get what I'm saying? So that's all advice she could give. As a mother, I could hear the pain in her heart for her baby girl. So growing, the only advice she could give was talk to God about what you're going through. And that's what I started doing, talking to God about what I was going through.
So talking to God has brought you close to God as a Christian. I read also on your blog that you are now preparing yourself to become a pastor, a leader in the church. So tell me about building your faith during this process and during the process of you going through with that with your mommy and nobody's there to help you and no husband.
Sister, all the single men out
there. You're a beautiful young lady. I'm looking at you and I'm saying, what a beauty. Oh my God, everyone would be loving to touch that face there.
But it wasn't okay. So we started. So you have to understand, this is not I got a ulcer and then it ends tomorrow. The fight is over 10 years. And over that 10 years, a lot has happened. I was actually dating someone in Jamaica and he was murdered. A year after, my mother, who was my backbone, she died. And also, it wasn't say, oh, I snapped my finger and then I moved from having a wound to becoming a pastor. No, I went through the old shortcut foot, losing all the bones in my leg, being told my leg would be amputated, and my toe was amputated first. My toe was amputated in 2011. So I had to live with that. I had to live with my wound constantly bleeding. At one time in 2000, before I amputated my leg, I ruptured a vein in my leg on my way to church. I just heard pow and there was blood spraying. I had to call the ambulance and I was rushed to the hospital. And I was also diagnosed with stage 2 kidney disease.
So you are saying to me that not just the ulcer and the charcoal foot, kidney disease too?
Kidney disease, diabetes, so much. End up in a bad relationship with an abuser. It wasn't an easy journey.
Wow. Carrie-Ann, your story is one to be remembered. I know that I was inspired by your faith. So many persons will be touched by your words and what you have been through and still going through after watching this video. Join us next time for part 2 to hear the rest of her story. So like this video, share some love in the comment for Carrie-Ann, share her story with a friend, and subscribe and click the bell for notifications. This has been Real Talk with Natoya Perkins. See you next time.